The night my husband locked me out of our house. He thought he had finally broken me. What he didn't know was that by morning, everything he thought he owned would no longer belong to him. It was raining that night. Not the soft kind of rain that makes you feel calm. No. This was heavy, loud, unforgiving rain. The kind that soaks you to the bone in seconds. And there I was, standing outside my own house, barefoot, no umbrella, no phone battery, just me, and the sound of the door locking from the inside. And then click, that sound. It didn't just lock the door, it locked something inside me too. I stood there, waiting for it to open again. It didn't. Maybe this will teach you to respect me. That was my husband, Victor, the same man I once believed I would spend the rest of my life with. The same man I supported, believed in, and loved. Even when everyone else told me not to. And now, he had locked me out, like I was nothing. But to understand how I ended up there that night, you need to understand something first. I didn't just love Victor. I built him. When I met him, he had nothing. No stable job, no direction. Just big dreams. And even bigger words. So I'm going to be successful one day. I just need someone who believes in me. And I did. I believed in him more than I believed in myself. At the time, I was already working 2 jobs. Morning shifts, late nights, barely sleeping, barely breathing. But when Victor came into my life, I thought, maybe, just maybe, this was love. So I supported him when he wanted to start a business. I gave him money. When he said he needed time, I paid the bills. When he doubted himself, I became his confidence. I became everything he needed. And slowly, his life started changing. The business grew. Money started coming in. Opportunities opened up. And for a while, I thought we had made it. But then, Victor changed. At first, it was small things. Don't say it like that. Oh, you don't understand business. I ignored it. Then came the criticism, the way I dressed, the way I spoke, the way I existed. Nothing I did was ever enough. And then, he started rewriting our story. Suddenly, it wasn't our success anymore. It was his work, his vision, his achievement, and me. I became invisible. I remember one night, we were at dinner with his business partners. One of them asked, "How did you get started?" Victor smiled and said, "I've always had the drive." I sat there, silent, because in that moment, I realised something. He didn't just forget what I did. He erased it, and still, I stayed. Because leaving someone you built is harder than people think. And then came the house. A beautiful house. Modern. Quiet. Perfect. Victor loved showing it off. Just, this is success. But what he never told anyone was that the house was bought with my money. Every single part. The deposit, mine. The documents, mine. The ownership, mine. And deep down, I think he knew that. But arrogance has a way of blinding people. And then that night happened. The argument started small, like it always did. Money, respect, control. "I just want us to talk," I said. "You think this is your house?" I froze, because that sentence said everything. Before I could respond, he walked to the door, opened it, and pointed outside. "Get out." At first, I thought he was joking. Then I saw his face. He wasn't joking, and just like that, I stepped outside, not knowing he had just made the biggest mistake of his life. I didn't knock on the door again. I didn't beg. I didn't even say his name, because in that moment, something inside me had already changed. Instead, I stood up slowly, wiped the rain from my face, and walked away. Not in anger, not in panic, but with something far more dangerous. Clarity. Victor thought he had control, but control, built on arrogance, always comes with blind spots. And that night, Victor made one fatal mistake. He underestimated me. I walked down the street, barefoot, the rain slowly easing, but my thoughts getting sharper, clearer, focused. There was only one place I needed to go. Clara. Clara wasn't just my lawyer. She was the only person who had seen this coming. Months ago, she looked at me and said, "If things ever go wrong, we prepare." At the time, I didn't want to hear it, as I was still defending Victor, still protecting him, still hoping love would fix everything. But Clara didn't argue. She prepared. When I got to her place that night, it was late. I must have looked like a mess, soaked, tired, empty. But she didn't ask questions. She just opened the doors and said, "Come in." That's the thing about people who truly care about you. They don't need explanations. They already see the truth, wrapped in a blanket, a warm cup in my hands. I finally spoke. He locked me out. Clara didn't look surprised. She nodded once and said, "Okay, then it's time." Time. That word felt different, because she wasn't talking about revenge. She was talking about strategy. She walked to her desk, pulled out a file, and placed it in front of me. Thick, organised, precise, everything. We had prepared. "You remember the documents you signed?" I nodded. "The house is in your name. Fully. Not shared, not joint, not his, yours." "What happens if he fights it?" I asked. Clara didn't hesitate. "He loses." And in that moment, everything became clear. Victor thought locking me out meant he had power, but in reality, he had just given me exactly what I needed. "His actions count as unlawful exclusion," Clara explained. "We document this. Act fast, and by morning. He won't even be able to enter that house." And for the first time that night, I smiled. Not out of revenge, but out of understanding. I wasn't weak, I was patient. And patience, when it runs out, becomes power. The sun rose quietly, like nothing had happened, but everything had changed. By 9 a.m, everything was already in motion. Calls made, documents filed, authorities notified. Everything precise, everything legal, everything irreversible. Victor still had no idea. He probably woke up, comfortable, confident, thinking he had won. But power built on arrogance never lasts. At exactly 11:17 a.m, Clara looked at me and said, "It's done." "What happens now?" I asked. She picked up her phone. "Now." We let him find out. At exactly 12:03 p.m, my phone buzzed, unknown number. But I already knew who it was. I picked up. "Eleanor, what is going on?" "Victor." But his voice was different. The confidence, gone. The control, gone. All that was left was confusion, panic, fear. I didn't answer immediately. I let the silence sit, let him feel it. "Eleanor, I'm serious. Why is my access not working?" I leaned back slowly, glancing at Clara. She nodded once. It's not your house anymore, Victor. Stop playing games. I'm standing outside. It says access denied. It's not a mistake. What did you do? I didn't do anything. You did. His silence said everything. That document last night. What did I sign? You signed exactly what you wanted. You just didn't read it. Don't play with me, Elena. It was never yours. Victor. Later that afternoon, we returned to the house. Not alone. Clara, a legal officer, the building manager, a locksmith. Everything official. Everything final. Victor was already there, pacing, restless, uneasy. He didn't look powerful anymore. He looked exposed. The moment he saw me, he walked straight over. What did you do? No greeting, no apology. Still the same Victor, just shaken. Mr. Victor, you've been removed from this property pending confirmation of ownership. You're joking. We're not. That's when it hit him, for real this time. This is my house. The documents say otherwise. He looked at me. Eleanor, tell them. Tell them this is a mistake. And for the first time, his voice softened. It's not a mistake. Something in his face collapsed. You can't do this. Can't I? The locksmith stepped forward. Click. That sound felt like an ending. Victor stood there, frozen, watching everything slip away. This isn't over. If you challenge this, you risk losing even more. Victor turned to his lawyer. Say something. The lawyer looked through the documents and then said quietly, You shouldn't have pressured her. What? You triggered a protection clause. You signed away your claim. Victor's face drained. No, that's not possible. But it was. And for the first time, Victor had no control. That night, for the first time in a long time, I slept without fear. No tension, no shouting, no walking on eggshells, just silence. And somehow, that silence felt louder than everything I had endured. I walked through the house again. Not as someone trying to hold on, but as someone who had finally let go. The memories were still there, but they didn't hurt the same way anymore. Because I finally understood something. I wasn't weak for loving him. I wasn't foolish for staying. I was human. I believed. I gave. I tried. But love, without respect, is just slow destruction. Victor didn't break me that night. He revealed himself. And sometimes that's the closure we need. Because the truth is, people like him don't change when you love them harder. They change when you stop allowing them access to you, and walking away wasn't losing. It was choosing myself for the first time. As I stood by the window that night, looking out at the quiet city, I realised something I wish I had known earlier. Never let someone convince you that you are hard to love just because they don't know how to love you right. And never stay somewhere where your peace is constantly at war. Because the moment you choose yourself, everything changes. Have you ever stayed too long in a situation that was hurting you? What would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story.